Oh. Welcome to Meaningful Mornings. A leader is one who leads herself, leads himself. Therefore, a leader must be reflective. If you're going to lead yourself, you have to be self-reflective. Specifically, one has to engage in self-criticism. This is where I can be better. And self-forgiveness. I can be better, but I should be patient with myself. In our Niti Shastra, the science of leadership, there's a beautiful message about self-criticism and self-forgiveness. I'll share the essence with you. When you make a mistake, how long does it take you to learn from that mistake, to let go of that mistake? Uttama kshanika. For the most reflective seeker, they learn and let go in a moment. Kshanika. Madhyama gatika dvaya. For the ordinary seeker, it takes them 2 gatika. Gatika means 24 minutes. So for our sake, an hour. The most reflective seeker learns and lets go in a moment. The ordinary seeker, it takes them 1 hour. Adhama ratra. For the poor seeker, poor in reflection, it takes them a night. But it happened during the day, so really you have to think of this as a full day. So 1 minute, 1 hour, 1 day. Papi maranda, for one who's not a seeker, it takes them until they die. Or a lifetime. When someone argued with you yesterday, ruffled up your ego, did you let go of that in a minute or an hour or a day? Or are you going to hold on to that until they die or you die? I'm appreciative of all of you for being at least madhyama seekers. You wouldn't be in Meaningful Mornings if you were not an ordinary seeker. And I mean that in an appreciative way, even though it didn't come out like that. We have to train ourselves more to learn and let go in a minute. If you have faith in infinity, if you have faith in infinity, then you have to logically and practically understand and appreciate that all infinity can do is be. Infinity doing can only be in the range where it is not, which then means it's not infinite. We all talk about infinity, yet still feel a sense of doership. Those are antonyms. If you have faith in infinity, it can only be. It cannot do. So what we are learning in Bhagavad Gita is not abstract. It is highly scientific. See, if I say it that way, yeah, science, we now will think about this and accept this more. Life, of the nature of existence, awareness, joy, enlivens the ego. Enlivens means by its presence. Like electricity with a computer, it has no intention to enliven the ego, no intention to enliven this computer. It simply manifests. The ego then enlivens the equipments, and the equipments then enliven experiences. And that's where we find ourselves stuck. We are life, and we're so far from it, as if so far from it, stuck in our experiences. He said this, she said that. Logically, practically, experiences cannot enliven the equipments, equipments cannot enliven the ego cannot enliven life. It doesn't need to. Life is life. Here is an example for you to reflect on. Do you remember those old school cameras where there were actual photographs you got to touch? Yes, centuries ago. Remember Kodak selling film? A camera, when it takes a photo, is enlivening what's in front of it, correct? Look around your walls, all those photographs. Can a photo enliven that camera? Can that photo take a picture of that camera? Can that photo know that camera? Makes sense. Now apply, reflect on that to see the relationship between life and that which it enlivens. Why is all of this happening? Prakriti. In English, a way to feel this, Prakriti is that which projects. We are identifying with Prakriti, or the projection. By practicing being an observer, we're pulling back from experiences to equipments to ego. And when we start to observe the ego, that's when we come to understand and appreciate we are not Prakriti, we are Purusha. Purusha's presence, Purusha's Purnatva, which means joy, infinity. We are in this phase of chapter 5 where the big picture Shri Krishna is guiding us to is training for contemplation. Some of us, we may not be oriented towards these details. The big picture, the theme of next chapter, the teaching of next chapter is contemplation. In my day, I have to be less lost in Prakriti. I have to be more of an observer so that when I'm contemplating, I'm established in this. Another verse training us in this, verse 15. Nadatte kasyachit papam nacheva sukritam vibhuhu ajnanena vritam jnanam tena muhyanti jantavaha. Let me read to you first, before I get into the words, a portion from Pujya Swami Chinmayananda's guidance. Technically, it's a commentary, but it's guidance. I hope all of you are using Pujya Swami Chinmayananda's bhashya or commentary. This is the most practical. Some of you may have small books because it's convenient, but there's no guidance in that. It's just technical. Some of you may have more interesting commentaries, but interesting doesn't help you. See, I find soccer to be interesting, but I'm not dedicating my life to soccer. Correct? Bhagavad Gita is to be our life. He shares. The Supreme, who is all-pervading, Vibhuhu, contrary to all our Puranic concepts of stock-taking gods and deities, is declared here as not taking any note of the merit or the demerit of the living creatures. It is such passages that shock the story-reading devotee class, and therefore they generally ignore the Gita and read instead the glories of Krishna. Agreed? Not you. I know how much you care for Bhagavad Gita. Presence, Purusha, infinity, life, all synonyms. Na adatte does not take, kasyachit, of anyone. No experience, no equipment, no ego. Papa. The negativity that they're experiencing. Na cha eva, and also certainly not sukritam, the positivity they are experiencing, the merit. Because this presence, Purusha, life, infinity is vibhuhu, independent. This line is a message we've come across 100 times already. It is only another method to teach us. Teach us what? If one is independent of the results, Papa and Punya is a result, correct? That implies they're independent of action, which means that implies they're independent of thoughts. They're independent of desires. They're independent of the ego. See how Sri Krishna sometimes zooms in on the ego. Now he's zooming in on the results. It's the same message. If you're independent of results, it's the same as being independent of the ego, which means you are feeling existence. What are we supposed to do with this? Be less results oriented. Be less results oriented. In my experience, that manifests when you like what you do and you like who you are. Okay? We keep asking, why am I lost in experiences? Ajnanena avratam jnanam. Jnanam here means awareness. Avratam is covered. Covered by what? Ajnana, which means ignorance. Forgetting that we're awareness. Technically, ajnana and jnana are mutually exclusive. Can light and dark ever be in the same place? They're mutually exclusive, which is why Maya is often described as that which makes the impossible possible. Mutually exclusive. We understand that so much in terms of finances and math and science, but what about our life? Not possible. How can the infinite be conditioned? Conditioned by what? Now think of you. Your nature is joy. How is it that there's tiredness and boredom and frustration in our lives? because we have forgotten who we are. Tena muhyanti jandavaha. It is this as if covering. Tena, to them, muhyanti, deludes. Who are they? Jandavaha. This is a harsh word that Sri Krishna is using towards us. Let me explain. Jandava means being. Almost like the word janvar. Can you tell me in English what janvar means? I've forgotten. I'm just curious. Please share in the chat. Janvar means animal. Another word for animal is pashu. Pashu means the one who lives by pashyati. Whatever they see, they follow that. Like a mirage. A deer sees mirage water and runs after that and ends up getting more thirsty, correct? See how consciously that word is used, jantavaha. What should be used for us is manava. Manava does not mean man or human. Manyate, the one who thinks, is the one who's a human. Thinks about what are they doing, who they are. See how detail-oriented Sri Krishna is in the words that he's used. Sharing one final reflection with all of you to help us to start to think, not be a janvar, but rather be a manava. In Srimad Bhagavatam recently, Sri Krishna's father is taught how to be free of loka eshana, this desire for position. I see this so strongly in people. They're becoming more and more and more position-oriented. Their professions, social media. He says, remember kala. Kala means time. Time is perpetually wiping away who's on top. Agreed? Then why am I living for position when I should be living for peace, which is never wiped away? Manyate, think. To application, we've had a lovely week together. Your application on Monday was arpana. Think it, say it, feel it. If you did, all that you experienced this week was prasada, made you more cheerful. On Tuesday, to say I'm sorry. I was reading Gita's reflection, Gita from Portland. She brought her icon closer to where she works. That way she's more careful, that she sees that her icon is watching her. Imagine Meaningful Mornings was 24 hours. You had to walk around with me on your phone. It's a horror movie, but you would be more careful, correct? On Wednesday, to rate how reflective you are, the more reflective you are, the more resilient you are. You learn and let go faster. Kshanika, not maranta. Yesterday, your reflection was to read the e-newsletter that you receive. I hope you all read about Climate Change 101. You know who wrote that? Not someone we don't know. She is from our own community. That's what's so special about all of our efforts. All volunteers are facilitating all we experience. It should mean more to us. It's more personal. Your application for this morning is, I want you to review the RADs that are posted on our website. There's almost 500 RADs and reflections now. Shanti, Shanti, Shantihi. Be safe, be sound, be serene, be happiness.